Dartmouth has been a principal charter port since the 1950s. Well, in those early days, most of the fishing was inshore on the fabulous Skerries banks for plaice, turbot and brill, and just to the west of that at Lanarcombe Bay, where wonderful bass were caught and still are from time to time. Well, as the years rolled by, so definitive offshore wreck fishing became the popular thing to do. And nowhere has there been a better record of big fish than at Dartmouth. Well, just a few days ago, Lloyd Saunders of Saltwind of Dart, and that's the boat that we're on today, well, he brought in the biggest conger ever caught in British waters with rod and line, a monster of 112.5 pounds. And believe it or not, that was the third record conger to be caught in southwest waters in the space of 9 months. I think that shows just how productive the area can be. Well, today we haven't got the best of weather. We've got a sloppy easterly 4, but that's not going to prevent us getting to a wreck about 25 miles out, where we hope we're going to find pretty good conger and perhaps pollock and the fast-moving coalfish. So let's head off and see what we can produce. We've arrived at the wreck. We're about 23 miles out, and the weather really has improved beyond anything that we really anticipated. The 4 that we were supposed to get hasn't materialized. It's about a 3, and we seem to be under a nice box of clear blue sky. So all we need really is the pollock, because that's what we're going for first. So let me tell you a little bit about the really quite simple rig that takes very, very big pollock, called the flying collar. Now, all it is, it's a long boom. In this case, one of plastic. The line from the reel runs through the boom, a bead at the end, a swivel, and then a very long trace, and on the end of that is an artificial eel. In this particular case, with a fairly good tide run, I'm using 15 feet of 18-pound monofilament. The weight to carry the boom to the bottom, as you can see, is simply on a link which is nicked to the boom. It's a very, very simple but highly effective rig to catch pollock, and hope that we'll be putting 1 or 2 good fish on it quite soon. The flying collar. Kevin, it's essential to have the clutch on the reel set perfectly to suit the weight of the line that's on the spool. Now in your case, that's a Pro Max 20-pound class rod with 20-pound test line on it. So the lever controls the amount of drag and tension on the spool. Yeah. Now to start off down, then obviously it's free to run, look. Yeah. Easy to run, okay? So after we've started to let down, you control the descent with your thumb all the time. And if you don't do that, you're going to get the most awful overrun, and you'll be spending the next half an hour trying to sort out the mess. So it's absolutely essential to control everything with the thumb. So when we start to go in a second, I'll talk you through running down, and then the last minute when we're there, you obviously bring your lever forward to set the clutch. Now it's always a good idea that once you're there just to test. See, that's on too tight, look, see? Now look, yeah. I'm pulling that off just nice. Now a fish could do that. Feel it? Yeah. So okay, so let's have a little run to the bottom and see what we can get. There he goes, look, and I'm controlling, let him go. Throw your spool, throw your trace out. Your reel, yeah, your reel is always thrown out first. Yep, just pick up your reel. Pick up your reel and just throw it out. And you're controlling descent. You're all right, has it got a knot in it? You always get rid of that. I think you've made that one a little bit too long, to be honest. I think I'd shorten him down a wee bit.
I always seem to get two pairs of gloves and they're both right hand or left hand.
Exactly the same time. Coming in.
Yes, throw your eel away. It's always a good idea to throw your eel away.
You're in the wreck there. Yeah, he's staying too low.
Trevor's in the wreck. Yeah, let him run all the way to the bottom. Set the things up nicely, look, so that you can see what's happening here. He's pulling off quite nicely there now. Let him come off a little bit. And there he is. Not a big fish though. But he's coming along steady. Yeah, I got him all right. Not a big one, but it's a good start. It's a fish with fins. Yeah, he's not really putting in any great runs. I like it when they go down so you can't stop them. Beautiful. He had a little jump then. Here he is. Right, let's have a look at that. Yeah, a little pollock. But it's a pollock, and it is a start. Lovely. Is he in, Trevor?
Yeah, he's got one. They're small, though.
Yeah, yeah. Ooh. But where there are small ones, there could be big ones. There he is. A pollock. Okay, so this is the pollock. Whoops-a-daisy, lively fish. The pollock, Pelagius. Now this is about 4.5, 5 pounds perhaps. Quite small as wreck fish go, but we'll improve on that during the day. But this one took a black eel, which is exactly the same sort as mine has just taken, which rather proves the point that black is a catching colour today. Okay, so identifying a pollock against a coalfish, which I hope that we'll be able to catch and show later on. You can see that the lateral line on the pollock is quite curved. See, it runs down very, very steeply from the head and then flattens out and runs all the way to the tail. It's really quite, it's quite pronounced, look, as it runs down through. Now the coalfish, as we'll see later on, is very, very straight indeed, and of course the coalie is a completely different colour. But there's the pollock, gold and brown, lovely looking fish, but not big enough. Right, there he goes, that's a better one. Lovely. Whoa, look at that, that's more like it. Beautiful dive. Look at that. Lovely curve on that one. Look, Lloyd. Yeah. Beauty. Come on, my beauty. The secret, Kevin, is to be smooth. You don't want to go hammering the rod up and down in the air or anything like that. You hold it firmly with your left hand and then wind when the thing has stopped its dive. You then gradually retrieve. And there's yours coming. Okay, so you got that one all right. That's a better one. Lovely. So we're coming along the road here quite nicely. Yes, we're beginning to make progress. Right.
Just laying off the wreck at the moment.
Right, yeah, I think so. Lovely. I do like a nice bit of pollocking. Not as big as I thought. They're getting better. They're getting better. Yeah, there's not much in it. Good ow. Lovely. About £6, 5-6 pounds. Yeah, nice fish. Good-o. Oh, he took that one deep, Lloyd. He took it deep. Okay, so there we are. Look, a black eel. Done well for us. Certainly catching on the day. The secret of the artificial eel's catching ability, of course, is its very, very flexible tail. See, it's just a little soft membrane, really. And as that's going through the water, that's working like the clappers. And obviously, to a predatory species like the pollock, it figures that that really is a very tasty meal. Needs to chase it and eat it. It's wise to have all colours with you on the day. I suppose I've got eels there of about 20 or more colours. And sometimes there are variations of colours. In other words, there can be 2 or 3 colours in the same eel. You need the different colours because what catches well on one day doesn't necessarily do so the next. So if you've got the choice, then you can switch it about. And already, as we've just proved, that we switched away from the fairly brightly coloured eels in the early part of the first drifts to the black ones, and they're catching. So off we go again. Right, away he goes. See if we can get a bigger one. Double figure pollock are the target, really. These are quite small and insignificant fish, as nice as they are, but it would be really nice to pick up a double. The pollock reaches quite a good size, actually. My own best fish weighed 23 pounds 4 ounces, and that was from a wreck about this distance out from the coast. But that was a winter fish. To get a pollock of that size in the summer, well, that would be really quite something. And the reason, of course, that they're heavier in the winter is that the big females are full of roe, and that increases the weight quite dramatically. It's a shame, really, that the large females are caught in this way, because obviously that reduces the pollock population of the future. So we're really trying not to catch too many now in the winter, and ultimately that could well pay off. I think there really is a good case these days for perhaps having a ban on fishing during the winter, mostly between, say, December and late February, when most of the females spawn. Now, if we could avoid or not be allowed to fish during those months, then clearly that would... I actually think that this sort of thing may well come about before to obviously affect commercials as well. We really need on all pollock and coalfish fishing between the months. That I think that the populations would be soon building up again. But it's food for thought anyway. But conservation is really very, very essential in virtually all kinds of fishing. It's really got to come. Let the rod do the work from there. You don't need to push it up in the air because you're ruining the action. And also could break the fish out, or break the hook out of the fish. Keep the rod where it is, let it happen from that point. Just take it nice and steady.
I felt that one knock.
Yes, lovely. You're doing well. It's a good feeling when they take, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's lovely.
Wait till a big one hits you. And it will. The essence of this game is not to hurry it. You don't need to chase the thing around. It'll gradually come up. Yep. It's coming. Here he comes. Lovely. Another small one. Yeah, but it is a pollock. You'll have tea to take home. Not worth going down again, Lloyd, is it? Great. Well, the tide has come up to slack water, so we've switched to conger tactics now. We're not actually going to anchor down, we're going to drift very, very slowly over the wreck. So let me show you the technique and the tackle, and also, of course, perhaps more important of all, the bait and how it's presented. Well, the tackle, I'm using a stand-up stick, 30 to 50 pound class. It's matched up with a multiplier, in this case a lever drag Fulmer 900 model. Now the stand-up stick is in classes from 30 to 80. It's all inbuilt into the same rod. Wonderful advantages with that. It has a very, very fast tip, which in fact can almost bend in under itself. There's a tremendous action there. Now the trace, well, it's a 50 pound line, by the way, and the trace itself is 250 pound monofilament. I've got it merely rigged on a little slider. In this case, just a simple swivel. That's all you need. You don't need to go in for sophistication and expensive end rigs. It's a swivel connected to the weight. A bead cushions against the swivel of the trace. The trace itself is 2.5 feet, 250 pound test monofilament. Now the hook, in this case, it's a 9/0 stainless. Now here's the bait. It's a flapper. It's a mackerel which has been cut down, and we'll show you how to do that more specifically in a minute. But putting it on the hook, take the point, you find the mouth of the bait fish, push it down as far as you can go, and push it back up so that it comes out through there. Now there, that's really very, very attractive indeed. Conger should swallow that, no trouble. Let's go down and see if one will. Right, so here we go then. Letting it run right to the bottom. Depth here is about 38, 39 fathoms, quite a long way down. You control the descent of the terminal tackle with your fingers on the spool. That prevents it from overrunning, therefore you won't get any tangles. Just control it nicely with your fingers. Let it run all the way down, controlling it. Way down it goes. At a pretty fast clip. We're going to go through that amount of water fairly quickly, about 30 seconds or so. A lot further up than it is down, and I think we must be getting fairly close to it now. Yes, and there we are. We're almost on the bottom. Right, we're right on the bottom. Next thing is just to set the clutch a little, test it that line can be pulled away from the reel should a big conger, or any size conger for that matter, take hold. Now it's a question of waiting for the knocks that should come. That'll indicate that a conger has come upon the bait and is at first gently mouthing it. Seldom do they really attack it very, very hard. First time they come up, have a little feel around it, have a sniff at it, see if they like it. So we're waiting for that to happen now. Can be a waiting game, conger fishing, but it's all part of the sport. As I say, we're not at anchor. We're drifting very, very slowly, and there was a take then. Slight take I detected then. There's the knock. It's just had a little knock at it. It's best to do nothing at this stage. just wait until something really definite happens. But he was there, he's had a little feel of it. Question is, does he like it enough to take it down? Hasn't developed into anything much yet, but it still can. Well, this is another species quite common on wrecks and also at reefs. It's the pouting, often described as the lowly pouting. In reality, in life and on the bottom, it really is the most handsome of fish. It has wonderful gold bars, but they fade almost instantly that the fish is brought out of the water, so they've really just gone. But really, it isn't quite so lowly as some would have you believe. It's not really very good eating, though. It has to be eaten fresh, a few hours old, and they then become known as stink-alives because they are they get ripe pretty quickly. But anyway, there it is, the pouting, another species. By the end of the day, I reckon we'll have half a dozen or more in the boat. It gives you some idea of what that looks like. This one's about a couple of pounds, I suppose, and they reach to a maximum weight of 6 pounds. Okay, Lloyd, 3 principal types of bait in conger fishing. Perhaps you go through them for us.
This is a what we call a fillet, which is cut down through the meat, but not through the skin of the fish.
In other words, you're going to do a back-to-back.
That's a back-to-back.
Right.
You fold that and present that on the hook like that.
And
So you've got the flesh
both
outside.
sides. Right. Okay, so that's the back-to-back.
Another one is to utilise this bait is to cut the backbone out.
Down to the tail and cut that away as well.
And there we have a one-sided flapper.
Yeah, lovely. With all the innards of the fish still there, succulent,
That's right. And
ready for a big conger. Okay, and the third one?
the third one is an actual flapper mackerel. To cut the one fillet down, turn the fish over, put the knife in.
Using the backbone as the guide, aren't you?
Using the backbone as the guide.
Right.
Turn it over, just nick the backbone out,
It is.
and there's your flapper.
There's your flapper.
If when you're anchored, to make that a bit more lifelike, what we do sometimes is split the fillet
Make it a squid
like
flapper.
so. Yeah.
Whoops. Yep. Lovely.
And there we are. And that all trails in the tide, like that.
Okay, and to mount the bait on the hook, the point into the mackerel's mouth, and then you push it so that it comes out through the tough head part. Keeps it on there very firm, doesn't it?
Yes, just like that.
Lovely. And then in the tide run, of course, the flat ends of it can stream out quite attractively. The back-to-back bait is particularly good, Lloyd, isn't it? When they're in a finicky mood and not taken too well.
That's right, it starts them to feed.
Starts them to feed. They get
Just
a nice little bit of
press
juicy
it
flesh,
through.
and they'll come on to bigger baits then.
Push it down, put the gape through, just push again. So you get a well-presented bait with the barb showing, like that.
And very securely on the hook, of
Yeah.
course.
Lloyd, I could almost eat that myself.
There you are. Presentation. That is good bait.
It's a long way down. On the bottom.
Deputy Knox, I just had a good one, but it didn't come to anything.
Nah.
They're there, though. They are there.
Probably pick up a bit when the tide starts to move.
I think it might, yeah. Do you come here often for pouting?
Oh, I'm in.
Pout?
Pout? No, fish. That's better. That's better.
You're in.
This is a good pout.
You're in. How long have you been specimen hunting for pout?
This is ting-a-ling.
That's a
ting-a-ling.
mangy ling on the end of there.
Ting-a-ling.
Trevor's having a little bend. Oh, God. Right. Name your species then, Liam.
Ting-a-ling.
Right. Okay. 10 points then. Ah, dear. Nice pollock.
Got the hole of the full on your big one, haven't you?
Hi? Yeah.
I want to see this super duper stick bend then.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to see it bend too. Good knock just now, Milner.
Did you?
Did you?
What we got there?
A ling. Little conger.
Small conger.
A little conger. The first conger. Well done.
There you are.
Thank
Wanted
you.
to catch one of those, didn't
Thank you.
As a put back at that. It's
Definitely.
Look, it just
Go
spit
for
the
the-
mackerel clean out of the... Look,
Spat
the
me flapper
mackerel right
out.
away. He's a
That one goes
spinner.
back, Kevin.
A strap conger caught by the specimen pouting hunter.
You got it?
Yeah, and released. Yeah, we don't keep fish this size. And here he goes, away to live again
Lloyd.
and to grow
That's the T-bar I was telling you about.
to become in 25 years a record fish.
Right, up you come then, we're going to make a move. The pollock had gone off the feed here now. We're just going to another wreck, he's about a mile away. Bring your tackle up.
Well, Lloyd, your decision to move to another wreck gives us a chance to talk about the vast number of hulks that lie in this area. It's quite incredible, isn't it, how many litter the bottom of the sea off Berry Head and Lyme Bay.
Yes, there's a lot of wrecks.
What would your reaction be if I told you that after a bit of research, I've discovered that in fact there were 451 sinkings in the First World War alone within the area that you generally work?
Yes, incredible.
Remarkable, isn't it?
It is, yeah, staggering really.
Of course, at that time, the ships were absolutely defenceless against U-boat attack, and most of them, you know, just popped up and fired a torpedo and down went another ship.
Yeah.
But I've also been told on fairly good account that the carnage was such that 27 ships were sunk in one day in 1917 when the U-boat campaign was at its height. That's remarkable, isn't it?
Amazing.
I managed to, with the research, just to put together a bit of a chart within the area that we're in. This is Berry Head, Lyme Bay, of some of the wrecks. Now, these were all in the First World War. Now, when you add the Second World War to that, and to natural tragedy as well, it's an awesome number of hulks, isn't it?
It is. It is.
So,
Even if some are broken up and disappeared and been sanded over, you're still talking about a lot of
a lot of wrecks, aren't you?
A lot
That's
of
right.
wrecks.
So, how long then do you think that, at the rate that fish are being taken from these wrecks by both commercial and angling interest, you know, how many more years do you think there is before we really see a dramatic fall away in numbers of fish being caught by rod and line anglers?
I think that there has been a dramatic decline in the amount of fish caught because the stocks have been depleted to such an extent by commercial and angling pressures. There's definitely a shortage of roundfish species, cod, pollock, ling. They're all gradually disappearing. The size is getting smaller. The fish that are coming in.
The big thumpers.
The migration of fish is not of the category it was 5 years ago.
No, and if you equate it to 10 and 15 years ago, totally different, isn't it?
Totally different.
But of course, you're riding high at this moment. A tremendous year already on very, very big conger, and a new British record, 112.8. That was a hell of a fish, wasn't it, quite frankly?
Yeah.
And that realised, I think, a lifelong ambition of yours.
Oh, it did. I think most charter skippers, particularly in this area, that is an ambition of all of them, is to get a £100 eel. And some have been fortunate and had more than £100 conger on the boat. You know, it's my first, you know. So I was very pleased about that.
But how many 90s and how many 80s have you got? I suppose that's beyond count, isn't it, really?
No, I'll keep a record of 80s and I'll keep a record of 90s, and the tally at the moment is 36 over 80 and 6 over 90.
It's a tremendous record of big eels, and now topped by this absolute giant of 112.8. But that isn't the ultimate, is it?
Oh no. No.
You would be first to admit probably that you're not going to hold that record forever.
I mean, if you imagine that fish being 6 inches longer of the girth it was, you're probably talking possibly 12, 15 pound on top of that weight. So you're in the realms of 120, 130 pound conger.
So what do you think might be the
think
British record in say 5 years' time?
5 years' time, I think you could possibly be talking in the 135 to 150 pound bracket.
Okay, Lloyd, let's get back to re-rigging the gear. Leave you to figure out how to put us on this new wreck.
Okay, Mike.
Shouldn't. Eight's bigger than a pout.
Hello, where you go?
Yeah, he's coming along nicely. He's nice fighting fish. This is light tackle, 12-pound class. So you can't do a great deal of horsing around with it. But that's what makes it great for sport. 12-pound class. It's a 12-pound class Pro Max. High modulus carbon rod. Matched up with a pollock reel, and as I've said, 12-pound class line. Lever drag, of course, on the multiplier, which makes for very, very fine tuning of the clutch mechanism. Can be very nice to fish with. He's still running this one. Pollock, I would think, although it's not beyond the realms of possibility that it could be a cullfish. He's run off enough. Anyway, he's coming along nicely now. It's good sport. Must be getting somewhere towards the top, I would think. Oh, he's had another little go, and I've just lost 30 feet of what I've gained. But he's coming up all right. Providing I don't horse him or do anything silly. Don't get all excited and jerky. We should get him. Smooth technique is really what sea fishing is all about. If you go horsing them about, jerking it all around, sweeping the rod up and down, that's a recipe for disaster. But with this, it should be okay. There he goes again. Well, seems he's been spirited, put it that way. Been very spirited all the way. Well, I just reckoned that might be the case. Yes, he's had lots of goes, you know. I mean, they fight all the way to the surface. They're not too bothered about the bend situation. He's coming up now. Yes. What do you reckon? Certainly had a nice little go here and there. Could be. Yes, that's what I was really after. Yes.
Lift your rod, please.
Yeah. That's the kind of pollock that I was looking for, as I mentioned earlier. That's more like it, you know.
Look at the fees coming out of it.
Yeah. So one.
Pilchards,
Yeah, full of pilchards. That might be a problem in the feeding as well. Yeah, they're glutted up, aren't they? Yeah. But he was still hungry enough to take the eel. Oh, there we are. Double figure pollock. Yeah, it's a nice fish. Just what I like. Put up a lovely fight. Took lots and lots of line off. But then again, of course, he wasn't horsed along. You see, on 12-pound class tackle, they have every chance to show their fighting capabilities. And you'll notice that he's hooked very nicely right in the scissors. Look, there he is. He hadn't swallowed it or anything like that. Took through all right. We'll be able to free that off fairly easily, I would think. There we are. Okay, so one double-figure pollock. He's about 14, yeah, between 14 and 15 pounds, I would think. Would you agree with that, Lloyd?
Yes, it's quite a heavy fish.
It is, isn't he? Solid. Good fish, yeah. Yeah, probably nearer 15 than 14. Okay, where there's one, there are more. So, back down again.
Well done.
That's what I was after.
You enjoyed that, didn't you?
I did. Is he a nodder, Liam?
Yes, he is, yeah.
A little nodder.
The fish is nice too.
I do.
Don't make me laugh. I can't do it when I laugh.
I love the pressure on the butt pad, Lloyd.
Do you? God.
Oh, it's gruesome.
Mind-boggling.
It's alright, this is okay.
Now look, tell me. It's another pouting.
It is another pout. It's a special pout. Oh, he's going again.
Slightly larger than the last one you
A bit
had?
larger than my... Yeah, I think we're up to perhaps...
It's a specimen Umiguli fish, isn't it?
This is 12 ounces of pout.
Don't know, but don't worry about it for a minute. Because you're coming up underneath it, Trevor. So come in underneath and try that.
Fish coming together, look.
Go on. Yeah, you know why? Your leg's caught round it. Don't worry, keep going. Keep going.
It's called togetherness.
Come
There's
on,
the fish out on the
underneath, Trevor.
surface.
Underneath.
Just coming to the surface now, look.
That's it.
There he is, just coming.
Yeah. It's nice cod, I think.
Nice pollock
Keep your
by the look
trace
of
up, Trevor. Or a pollock.
And Trevor got himself a big double as well.
That is a good.
Excellent.
That is a good
That's
pollock.
what we want.
That
well
is
done, Trevor.
going to make his day. He won't buy
Well,
yours
look at
now,
that.
Mike.
I don't want yours, Mike.
Hey?
Possibly a ling. Or an eel. I'll show you.
Lovely job.
Here he comes.
Here he comes.
It's a ling.
It's a ling.
Well, well, well.
King
The elusive species.
Spit it out. That's the
It's
food.
a nice one.
Well,
Just
the
in the
ling
background,
man
okay?
strikes again.
I got your lead.
You proved there was a ling down there.
And a nice one. I'll just take him off with a T-bar. One glove, one lead.
I tell you what, they're pretty good eating. I like a
Oh,
ling
yeah.
myself. It's nice eating.
Not bad at all.
Nice eating. Great.
Lloyd,
We'll do it again then.
down again for another.
So what do you reckon that is? 30 odd fish?
Action replay, that's the word, Trevor. Thank you.
How'd you do it?
Lloyd, you see all types of anglers during the course of the average year. You must have thoughts about clothing. I know that some of them come really inadequately equipped, don't they, for the task of what offshore wreck fishing really is.
Yes, this is it. They do. The type of trip really governs what they need to bring a lot of the time. It's very different to go to the Skerries, which is 20 minutes out of the harbour on a nice sunny day.
Yes, different out here to in there.
Going, yeah, when you're going on a mid-channel wreck 30 miles out and you may be out for 12 hours, conditions can change. You can get spray, you know, where you need a good pair of waterproof oilskins of some description, and Wellingtons or similar, not trainers, you know.
No, half boots probably.
Yes, yes.
And of course...
Always something warm to wear, such as a woolly jumper. Even if you don't wear it, you can always take it off.
It's something to keep the wind out, isn't it? That's right. That out here, wind off the sea can chill absolutely to the bone in no time at all.
Yes.
And that, of course, leads to the old seasickness problem, doesn't it, in many cases?
Yes, fatigue and tiredness really.
Fatigue and tired adds to being seasick.
Is a big factor.
It is. So, to sum it up then, a very, very good waterproof and windproof suit. Wear a number of jumpers. You can always take them off if it gets too warm. A cap with woolly sides to pull down over the ears, that's good, isn't it? And as we just said,
particularly in winter conditions.
The half boots.
Yes.
Yeah. No t-shirts.
That's all. It's all right on a flat, calm day, you know, and you do get them. Nice, warm, sunny day.
But not to start off with.
No, no. You need adequate clothing. Like you say, if you can put all the layers on you like, but if you don't put something waterproof over the top, the wind will go straight through you. What they call a lazy wind. Doesn't go round you, goes through you.
Through you. And one wave over the side, just after you've left the harbour, can make an absolute whole day sheer purgatory, can't it?
That's
for
right.
the guy who got wet.
I often see
in the
that.
first 5 minutes.
They get wet coming out of the river, don't put their oilskins on, and then they put their oilskins on and they're wet underneath. So they spend half the day wet.
Okay, so let's hope that one or two take heed of the advice that you've given us today.
Yeah. You in?
What is it? Pollock. There's quite a few pollock about.
Good.
Well, it's the end of the day. Things are getting a little bit slow, so I'm going to resort to the old Cornish custom of buying a fish. I'm going to be incredibly generous to get one, 5p. But I wonder if it's sufficient to buy another pollock. We'll see. Here we go. Glitter, 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 all the way to the bottom. Right, so now to redouble the efforts to get the pollock that I've paid for. And there he is, the bought fish. Good pollock too. Never fails to work. Come on, my beauty.
Mike,
This is one to end up with.
Let me 5p.
You catch your own fish, buy your own fish. Here he comes. It's going to be a nice one. Yes, sirree. Oh, yes, he's got his head down too. It's a good one. Lovely. How generous I was for 5p. Nice and steady again. If you hustle these decent sized fish along, you do stand a very, very good chance of losing them. This one's getting his head down quite a lot. But with perseverance and, oh, got a little shake that time. I think we're going to win the day. Oh, yes, he stopped me dead then. Well, here's the boom coming. Where is the pollock? There he be. All right, Lloyd. It's a bought fish, by the way.
Is it?
I just paid 5p for that one.
Yeah, you've been chucking silver in the water.
Chucking silver in the water.
Oh.
I've been going by the old Cornish custom.
Look at that, I looked in the mouth.
Foul looked in the mouth.
The hooks just dropped down.
Foul looked in the mouth. That's the way to get them. Bought fish.
No, you're dangling for now, honestly. I mean it. Come down again.
Do you like that?
That's good. It's really fine. Well, that'll do.
Because I was saving it.
Nobody will bloody believe it now. This is the trouble. You know.
For real?
Yeah, no.
There was no con. I did it.
Exactly.
Okay, where you go then? Last chance.
Okay, for the last train to San Fernando. Well, I'm coming up for the last time in what's been a pretty entertaining day of wreck fishing. Nothing very spectacular. It's come up from the 2 wrecks that we've drifted over today. But having said all that, by today's standards, we haven't really done badly at all. We've had reasonable sized conger, not the giants that we'd hoped for, but we really knew that the tides weren't really suitable for the very biggest fish. The pollock have been very good, and we've got several really good specimen fish. In fact, they're quite large for the summer. You would expect to have found 1 or 2 of them only in the winter months, so that's a real bonus. We've had ling. By virtue of the tides today, we've had to stay mostly on the drift, which has meant a series of drifts over the 2 wrecks that we visited. And I suppose that we've been across, what, 20, 30 times. The drifts have also been quite short. So we've had to make each one count in the 2 or 3 minutes only that it's taken for Saltwind of Dart to drift over whichever of the hulks we were fishing. But I think that our skipper, Lloyd Saunders, has given us a very entertaining day. I know I've enjoyed it. I'm pretty sure that everybody else has that's on board. And I think we're all looking forward to doing it again before many days have passed.